So I don't know about y'all, but sometimes getting out of our house and getting on the road can be very stressful.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. You know, that's one thing that kind of pushes you towards full time because you never have to unload anything. When we get home from a long trip, we usually have to wash clothes and pull some things out of the refrigerator.
Pull everything out of the refrigerator.
And the freezer, food that might be damaged by the sun, melt or anything, even some of her cosmetics. We need to take out.
On top of all that, the stressful part today, we were delayed by what, an hour and a half?
By a license plate.
By a license plate of all the crazy things.
Now, I've had screws get stuck and WD-40 always did the trick. Always has done the trick. And it fought with me for a long time. Finally had to just grind off the heads of the screws, and thanks to my neighbor for helping
flying
me.
Everywhere.
We got it rolling and got going, but it can get stressful.
So we thought we would share with you some of the things that we do when we're leaving our sticks and bricks and heading out on a trip.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go.
Nothing more scary than filling up the RV.
I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And this is what people go through to save a few cents. Lined up.
Go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You know, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go.
What's next?
Let's keep going down the checklist of the blankets.
Check.
Batteries.
Batteries. Check.
Computer.
The computer. Check.
Vitamins.
Hey, I gotta get the big ones put in the bag.
Okay. Retractable dog leash.
Oh, yes, can't forget that. What about your wallet? Did you ever get your wallet on?
Need a wallet.
Boy, packing is exhausting for one of us. Okay, so this is something that for some reason it took me a while to learn. I would always, I'd take some ice with me that's already made, and then I'd take my trays and fill them up the first time we stopped. And then this trip, I thought to myself, why don't I go ahead and fill those ice trays and let them be frozen? Don't know why it took me so long to learn that, but this is also good, and then it'll help keep my other freezer stuff that I take from the house and put in there that is needs to stay really cold. These are also good if you're like us and you didn't turn the refrigerator on until the morning you're going to leave. You can take these frozen things and take them out and put them in the refrigerator or the freezer, and they'll help keep your stuff cooler until your refrigerator can get cooled down to where it needs to be. Now, one other thing we do is, and y'all may say this is silly, but we take our food and separate it and lay it in here and freeze it so that we can, if these aren't stuck together but they're frozen, because we may not eat any of them, we may eat all of them, it just depends. But we can get into the bag and pull out one at a time or two at a time and cook them, and they'll stay fresh until we do. And we also did the same thing with cutting out some hamburger meat, all frozen. These are all, I put them on a cookie sheet, laid them out on wax paper on a cookie sheet. Once they're frozen, it doesn't take them but a couple hours. You can pull them up, pop them in a bag, and this way I can pull them out one at a time or two at a time, because it's me and Danny. And this was one of our 1-minute tips, but the ground beef that we're going to take with us, I squish flat so that they'll stack up when I put them in the freezer and take up less space.
So as we're packing up, I wanted to tell you the latest idea we have for wireless service as we're out on the road. We've been using our phones. We had Verizon phones. We just switched over to AT&T. More on that at a different time. But we got free phones, so that's why we switched. But I had the T-Mobile MiFi, and our thought pattern has always been to have phone under one service, a MiFi under another. That way, if one tower is not near, maybe the other one would be. This, of course, you charge it and it runs for 4 or 5 hours at most, and we couldn't leave it on while we're gone. So what we've done, thanks to some friends that told us about it, like Meals on Wheels, the T-Mobile wireless internet is for home use, but several people are using it on the road. We've talked to business associates, talked to the McNeils, and they're using the T-Mobile wireless internet as they're parked in their campgrounds. So we're going to try to use this. That way we can leave pet monitors on, cameras on. And you will have to have electricity to keep this running. It does have a battery that's supposedly you can use for about 4 hours in case the electricity went off. And the great thing about this one over this one had 50 gigs for $50. So if you're doing a lot of uploading of YouTube videos or just streaming a network service like Netflix or whatever the case may be, you'd go through this pretty darn quick. Some months we did. And then this one's unlimited internet. So woohoo! We should be able to load up all those videos so y'all can watch them. We definitely let you know what we think after using it on this next big trip. One thing we always do before we leave is turn the water off. We happen to have a valve out here, you just one turn and the water's off to the house. Now, if you don't have a valve, you have out by the street, you have to have most of the time a special tool. You might be able to have that. But at bare minimum, I would suggest turning off your valve to your toilets. The other day, we happened to be home, so we were lucky there. This toilet started running and running and running. And then a week or so later, that one started running. So if we'd have been gone, they would have ran for months. So we suggest turning off toilets and an ice maker so you don't get a flood there either. Valve's pointing up. If it goes with this line, that means it's on. If it's going against the line, that means it's off.
Okay, so the first time that we took out for 2 months, I did not do this, and I came back and I had moldy toilets because they had sit there for 2 months. Last time, I learned that lesson. Take you some Clorox cleanup, another kind of bleach, and just do a few squirts of bleach down in the toilet. You will not come back to a moldy ring in your toilet that way. So you've seen a little of our day. We just want you to know one thing that is 100% for sure. It's totally worth it.
Yep, you know you want to get out there. Sometimes there's things that are going to make you slow down and give you stress. Sometimes the gas prices are going to give you stress.
That was stressful.
But it's always worth it. We're going to show you some video of where we're at. We're at a Harvest Host in Indiana. If you want to learn more about it, there's a link down below to Harvest Host. We want to show you some video of what makes it worthwhile.
We came in here late afternoon and I had picked strawberries before, but I picked a few strawberries and I picked cherries for the very first time ever.
And sunglasses are going to mess with your color perception. Oh, they look darker with your sunglasses on.
They do.
See how deep and dark here, and then see how these are more orangey looking. So you're going to want the dark ones.
Like those in here.
And then when you pick them, you want to leave the stem on because they'll last longer. So you kind of pinch and with your thumb and kind of pull them off like that. Pull them off. They'll stay. They'll stay fresher longer for you, and you'll want to throw them in the refrigerator. They will not continue to ripen once you pick them. So I'm trying to find the ones with a good deep color. They're gonna have the best flavor. Like this is the first tree we picked today. I mean, the first tree I brought everybody to, and there's still all these cherries that did not get picked.
There's some dark ones in there.
The only thing to watch out for is try to just get the. Yeah, but that's fine because I call those twins.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get triplets, but just just getting this color part is good, but not where the gray is. Like, don't take this whole thing, even if there's a big bunch of them, because our fruit buds for next year are in the middle here. So just
Right before that mud. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just right.
So there are still, we picked, had lots of people out here, but you have to kind of look up and under, and the lighting, I think a lot of these are ready to pick. This variety's called Stella. They're the meaty, sweet cherries.
Stella.
Stella. And we've got another one called Sweetheart.
Man, I'm good at doing the double.
So one thing we do to try to alleviate some of the stress of travel day, of days you're packing up, is choose to take a shorter trip. So our first day is usually 2.5 hours, and stop in a place like this here at the Harvest Host. And it sure makes your day better when you've got a great place to stop and stay. Had a great night's rest and just enjoyed our Harvest Host location.
Until next time, God bless and many safe travels.
And go RV, America.